Let's go to Ukraine and go to the second part here. Another important story that has come out. One of the initial ones that we were able to discuss is that U.S. Special Forces were actually present inside of Ukraine along with French and British Special Forces. This leaked several days ago. Counterpoints actually covered it on the very first day of the leak. Well, that wasn't just part of the leak. It has now been officially confirmed by the Pentagon. Let's go ahead and put this up there on the screen. The embassy confirms that the Pentagon has U.S. Special Forces on the ground in Ukraine. They say, quote, "I will not talk about specific of numbers and that kind of thing." To get to your question, there is a small U.S. military presence at the embassy in conjunction with the defense attaché's office to help us work, quote, "on accountability of the material that is going in and out of Ukraine." So they are attached to that embassy and to that defense attaché. Now, if you believe that they're just staying inside the embassy, I think that you're an idiot. Also, if you think that we really care at all about transparency in terms of making sure weapons get to where they are, I also think you're an idiot because well, here's the thing. We have no Inspector General's office that requires any transparency on this whatsoever. The Treasury Department doesn't even have a unit that is looking at this. They're monitoring social media to make sure to try and see where weapons are. Well, what do we also know? From that crazy article that we talked about here about the grifters in Ukraine who just show up and are like U.S. citizens who want to fight and some of these things, they're getting access to full, brand new automatic weapons. Who do you think that's coming from? You think you just get crates of weapons that magically appear inside of Ukraine and we have no idea who gets their hands on? So the idea that this is what they're ostensibly doing is BS. We already know that the former Ukrainian defense secretary official, is currently getting under indictment or whatever inside of Ukraine for over purchasing weapons and overpaying for military supplies, which again, he's not the one footing the bill. It's us who are footing the bill for all this. So I just think it's ludicrous. The fact that they even confirmed that they're on the ground, though, is, again, one of the extraordinary services that this leaker gave us.
Yeah, that's right.
Because we would not know it for sure. We all suspected, but we don't know it for sure until it comes out.
Their theory here is that we sent, like, Army Rangers over to be, like, glorified auditors. Like, okay.
Get out of here.
Sure.
Right. That's an insult to them, actually.
It's an insult to everyone's intelligence. And, it's amazing there's like very little pushback on any of that, but any of this with the press, but whatever. The other thing to keep in mind here is that, from the leak, it wasn't just the U.S., it was also notably France. Now, France just came out and outright lied and said, no, we don't have anybody on the ground there whatsoever. Sure. Yeah, they didn't come up with their like, well, they're just auditing. They're like hanging out at the embassy. I promise they're not actually engaged in the war. They're just like, they're making tea and like checking doing the bookkeeping or whatever. So it's really important that Americans understand what we're doing, how many people, where are they, that there is a presence on the ground. This has never been acknowledged before. So the fact that this forced the government's hand to at least, admit the partial bare bones truth, 10% of the truth here is a significant service that's been done.
Yeah, absolutely. And, in terms of also where, even if they are just in the embassy, let's believe that. One of the things that came out of the documents is that the Pentagon is running all of Ukraine's military operations. They are doing battle damage assessment on strikes. They are going through and logistically, supplying their ammo, their weapons depots. If those guys are on the ground in defense attaché role, that doesn't even necessarily minimize what exactly that they're doing, which is they're basically running the war. Like the Ukrainians are doing the fighting and the dying, and that is very brave. But the high-level strategy and all that, it's not happening in Kyiv. It's happening in the Pentagon. And then these guys are basically carrying all that stuff out. I really wish, some of this stuff we could show. Like, we're talking about slides and slides and slides of the U.S. military doing after-action reports on all these Ukrainian ops. This is not even our fight, and we're doing all of this stuff. Like, that is what those guys are actively engaged in. So just because you're not there pulling a trigger, if you're there and you're doing spotting and you're helping with ISR and all this other support stuff, you're probably even more vital to the war effort than some boot who's on the ground.
And even if they're just doing the auditing from the embassy, what do you think is going to happen if a few of these service members on the ground, special operations forces, what do you think is going to happen if they get killed and dragged through the streets or, God forbid?
It'd be horrible.
What do you think that the David Ignatiuses and the CIA ghoul that we showed you earlier from them, what do you think they're going to say we should do in response to that?
Yep.
So this is a tremendous risk in terms of potential escalation. It's very revelatory in terms of our real role in guiding this war. we've had little scraps of reporting previously about the way that our intelligence is absolutely, I mean, all these weapon systems that we're shipping, many of these things, like, they have to then rely on us to do the back office work in terms of, you know, making these things work and understanding where to target and who to target and all of that. So we are so much deeper in this than the American people have been told or realized, and you get just little glimpses here of what's really going on.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll keep you guys updated on that story. I doubt we'll literally ever hear about it again.
Hey guys, ready or not, 2024 is fully upon us now, and Saagar and I have been brainstorming ways that we can really up our game for this critical election.
Yeah, we rely on our premium subs to expand our coverage, to add staff, to upgrade the studio. We just want to give you the best independent coverage of this election, which is possible. So if you can help us out, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com, or the link is down here in the description video. It really means the world to us, and if you like what we're all about, this is the best possible way to keep us 100% independent, working only for you.